Hello, good morning. Welcome everyone to the wonderful world of Facebook Live and the thoughts and expressions of me as this physical form in front of you. Who knows where this comes from, but welcome anyway. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're well. Just starting out a new day here with some thoughts and wanting to share some things with you. So obviously I want to talk a bit today about consciousness, about revolution, and about our evolution. So there's something that I want to share to begin with. So I'm reading a book at the minute by Deepak Chopra. I'm sure many of you have heard of him. You know who he is. Maybe you haven't, but it's a book. It's not a new book. It's an older book, but there's just a really nice quote in this that I like to read. So it's a book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and I'm just going to read a quote from this just to begin. So, in reality, we are divinity in disguise, and the gods and goddesses in embryo that are contained within us seek to be fully materialized. True success is therefore the experience of the miraculous. It is the unfolding of the divinity within us. It is the perception of divinity wherever we go, in whatever we perceive, in the eyes of a child, in the beauty of a flower, in the flight of a bird. When we begin to experience our life as the miraculous expression of divinity, not occasionally, but all of the time, then we will know the true meaning of success. So I really love that quote, and this book is, I'm only getting through it. As I say, it's an older book. I think it may even be from the 90s, but I was drawn to this book by another quote from the book which I love, and funnily enough the quote was attributed to Paulo Coelho, a different author who actually didn't make the quote. So somehow on the internet it's got confused in the mass consciousness. But amazing book, amazing quote. But so I just thought when I read that quote, it's just it sparked some ideas about what is our next evolution. What is happening with humanity, with our consciousness, with the world. So if we look at the world now, it probably seems a bit crazy. Everything's dark, everything's getting fired up, everyone's getting to see really the dark elements of humanity, along with seeing very light elements as well. And where we point our consciousness and our focus is going to decide what we experience. Because if we focus solely on the darkness and focus on the things that make us feel bad, or focus on the things that are wrong with the world, we are going to join and merge with that consciousness of fear and hatred and the dark elements. But what we can do is have compassion and know that we want to serve and help people that are going through things that may be difficult and very dark. But how do we help those people? Do we help people by focusing on the negative, by identifying the problems constantly? We need to identify the problems, and we need to... Morning, Mama, how you doing? We don't stick our head in the sands and say, okay, there are no problems. That's not what I'm saying. I say once we identify the problems, we see the problems, we acknowledge the problems, what we do then is look at solutions. And the solutions is always reaching for the light. It's always reaching for love. It's reaching for positive ways in which we can change ourselves and in turn help other people. So the evolution of consciousness is actually going to be a revolution of consciousness. So before, in the past we're focusing on the negative, and we're fighting against revolutions. That word revolution would be very much contained with maybe overthrow of governments and one group of people fighting against another. So it's a revolution against oppressors, and that's violent revolution is generally how that word would be seen. But this new revolution is an evolution of our consciousness. So it's moving beyond the violence, moving knowing that violence does not solve violence or cure violence or get rid of violence. Violent thoughts, violent actions, violent words only create more violent thoughts, violent words, and violent actions. So this revolution of consciousness is about pointing our consciousness, pointing our awareness towards the light, towards solutions, towards love, towards what is going to bring us out of this old paradigm of looking at the dark and feeling victim to outside circumstances. It's really expanding our awareness to know that love is all there is on the highest level, and we are experiencing the opposite of love in this world now. Good morning, Marie. How you doing? And so yeah, this revolution now it's not a revolution of violence. It's not a revolution of uprising in physical terms with fighting against the oppressors, fighting against the people in control. No, it's connecting with your fellow people with love, reaching out and helping the people that are beside you, people that need your influence. That's the revolution of consciousness. That's moving towards the light, working towards solutions, really opening yourself to what is already inside of you. Like this quote said, we are gods and goddesses in embryo, and that means the spark of God, source, light, love, all of those things is within every single one of us. And that means every single one of us. That means the people that we think are the darkest, the oppressors, the people that are responsible for the most dark things in our humanity, they are at the essence the same as each and every one of us. So when we get to see that and know that they are playing the darkest, most difficult roles to wake us up, then we can have understanding, we can have compassion for these things that are really stirring us up and waking us up, and all of these things that are going on around the world where we see that make us feel really pain, feel the darkness, feel like the challenges of seeing these really just unimaginable things that are going on around the world to children, to adults, to humans, just doing unimaginable things to other humans. These things are to wake us up. These are to really actually put us in a position where you have to ask yourself a question: what am I in relation to that? What am I in relation to these events? Am I the person that's going to fight against that and say, okay, how do we respond to this? We respond to this with more violence. We'll drop bombs. We will get revenge on these people, or will we go the way of love, the way of Gandhi, with non-violent? He became one of the most powerful leaders that the world has ever seen, without violence. And whatever your opinions of him and your political or social, that is a reality. What happened there, and he was one of the most powerful leaders that there was. He had a whole one of the second biggest country in the world. He had all of those people behind him with non-violent response to what they felt as oppression, which was oppression in India. And he had people that would do anything for him, for this just cause, for this evolution, this revolution of consciousness, where he chose, and this is a long time ago now, and if his influence had really taken hold around the world, maybe we'd be in a different place now, but that's irrelevant. We are where we are now. So if the next revolution after that, I suppose, would have been in the 60s, where you had the flower power and these things, and that was a revolution of consciousness as well. It may, at that time, it could have been fueled to somewhat the psychedelics, and then there was obviously the outcries towards what people seen as unjust wars, and rightly so. But again, that lots of more controls came in afterwards, after that, to really quell those revolutions of consciousness, and then it faded away, which everything ebbs and flows as well, so that's normal enough. But that's been nearly 60 years, I would say, since the last real revolution of consciousness, a real revolution of people waking up, of people realizing what they are, who they are, seeing through the illusion of this materialistic world, the capitalist agenda, the control of with money, and how money controls people, controls countries, controls everything. How information is hidden, sometimes in plain sight, but information and knowledge is hidden from the normal people, and people are kept ignorant through this suppression of knowledge and a suppression of who we really are. So how do you step beyond that? I talked in some of my previous videos, the first thing that you need to do is step away from mainstream media is the number one. And this video will probably get limited massively because I talk about these things, but I don't care. If one person hears this is all that matters, because the very platform that we're on is one of the the main proponents of this. It blocks what you can see. It controls what you see. You will they suppress, and the internet was created for us to share knowledge, to share wisdom, and they can only suppress it for so long because it's gotten too big. And the powers that want to control the knowledge, control the things, they can't control it forever. And they've created these mediums where people can share, and as much as they limit what you see, if you make a choice that you are going to really search out what is true, then you will be able to do it. You just follow what feels good. If you see articles and websites and posts on Facebook that are promoting fear, promoting hate, promoting victimhood, then get rid of that. Unfollow, unfriend if you have to. Point your direction in what feels good. Point your direction in people that's offering solutions. Point your focus, your attention on what you can do to firstly raise your vibration, to make you feel good, to make you a beacon, to allow yourself to be a light in the darkness. And everyone can do this. It doesn't have to be, again I talk about things that everyone can do. This is not this like grand scale thing, something you think that's too big for you. No, you begin where you are, begin exactly where you are, beginning with yourself, and then with the people around you, then with your society. And this is the revolution. The revolution is going to start in here, in your heart. It's going to start with opening yourself to the reality, getting beyond the illusions that's portrayed on the news, on TV programs, on movies, on all of those things. So I say cancel your Netflix, get rid of your TV, get rid of your newspapers, start to read books, start to use social media how it should be, start to focus your social feed so that it promotes feeling good. Look the other direction when it's something that's designed to put you in fear. And again, not putting your head in the sand if you think that this is what this is doing. It's not designed to do that. It's allowing you to get yourself in a position where you can help those people that are in need, that are stuck, that don't see outside of this, that don't realize what's going on. And many of us are still within that, myself included. I'm not saying that I've got some sort of enlightened this. I have lots of these things still within me, but I'm just starting to see beyond that, because I've taken myself away from media, away from fear, away from these things. And then the innate knowledge, the God, the goddess within you knows. It's like you are this divinity, like the book said, like Deepak Chopra in this book. You are that already. It's not something you have to learn, or it's just something you have to remember. So it's join this revolution. You can see it. The fact that I'm doing videos like this is just a sign of this revolution, this evolution, because even a few months ago I don't think I would have done this sort of thing, because I wouldn't have felt free to openly share these things. But now is the time, because as I said in another video, it's always darkest before the dawn. So all those things around the world that are going on, that are very, very difficult and very painful to watch, those are painful, difficult things within us that are still existing within our consciousness. and that's why we see those on the outside world. It's not that I'm here as this perfect being and all these things going on around me are separate from me. No, they're part of your consciousness. Good morning, Caroline. Buenos dias. I hope you're well. So, as I said, the change begins with you. Don't wait for your government, your council, your politicians, your something outside of you. We're always giving away our power to something else, and we're a victim. We can't change things. You can change you. You are the person that's in control of your consciousness, your actions, your thoughts, your words. And there are control systems that have kept that bounded. I understand that, and I know that, and that's why I'm giving you options, giving you tips, giving you the awareness, firstly, that it's possible to step outside those things, and we're not a victim of this control. If we join together, create groups, talk with people that are starting to do things outside of the norm, and talk with people and create groups and join groups that are proactive in looking at solutions, not it's the problems. Yes, identify the problem, but as soon as you've identified the problem, it's like in Abraham Hicks says, you know what you don't want, so now you can more clearly see what you do want. So what do? Identify the problem, then all your focus, all your attention, all your actions, all your thoughts, all your words are on solutions, are on ways in which that you move the opposite of the direction of the things that you do not want. And obviously, I'm sure there are many things that you can see in your life, in your society, in your world that you do not like, that you do not want. So what do you do about that now? Do I become a victim and just wait for this new government, a savior? This is another thing where this revolution of consciousness comes from. We've had a world for thousands of years where the world is looking for a savior, so all the religions are based on this savior, and it's usually this one man who is coming to save us, and that's just not the reality. It's not real. It's just humanity's will to have to give the responsibility of change to some other entity or some other being, and these religions that are based on a savior or something, that it's just giving away your power. It's giving away your responsibility because it's easy, because it's in God's will, or it's in something outside of me. No, you are the God, the goddess. You are the creative power. Your thoughts, your words, your actions create exactly what you see in your world. And once you realize that, then you see that in the wider world, how your thoughts, words, and actions take one small part of that bigger revolution, that evolution. So what do you want to do? Remain where you are. If everything in your life and your world, your society is how you want it, then you don't have to do anything. Good morning, Grania. How you doing? Nice little bit of sunshine there. Morning to you. Hope you're well. Yes, you have a choice. You have a choice starting every moment. There is only one moment. We can give ourselves the experience of past and future in this moment if we choose. But again, that gives away our power if we're always thinking about things that have gone, and I'm a victim of this, and I live in this country, or I don't have power because of my past. That is, you're going to be forever. If you keep that mentality, then you will be forever, because there will always be a past, because we give ourselves this experience of moving from birth to death with all these now moments. If you're always stuck in that past, that will never end. So realize now, it's now. Now I take that action. Now I have these thoughts, I have these words. What do I want to do? Do I want to continue to feel victimized, to feel bad, to feel like this world is a horrible place and I have no control? You can choose to do that, and for many hundreds, maybe thousands of years, maybe the majority of people have done that, and maybe it's still the majority now, but this revolution, this evolution of consciousness, does not, because the light, if you think about, let's think about a huge, large warehouse, and it's completely dark. If you light one tiny small candle in that warehouse, the size of that candle in comparison to the size of the warehouse, if you light that candle can brighten so much of that space. So you have to look at this in a way that it takes very little light. It takes very small amount of light to lighten a dark space. So that means even if the majority of the people in the world, or your society or your family, whichever group we look at, are in ignorance, and I mean that with the greatest respect. It's not like it's just ignorance, is just not knowing, not awakening to what is there because of all the things I've mentioned. But even the majority of people are still there. It only takes one person within a big group to awaken, to shine their light, and it just takes a small group. So you can be that light in your society, you can be that light in your family, you can be that light in your town, your city, your country. And each time one person do that, the growth is exponential. And that's why these control systems, the history we've had, those things are crumbling. They're falling away. They're falling away by every candle that is lit. And if you imagine in that warehouse, if we take that one candle and then we take two tiny candles, both ends of the warehouse, think in your mind's eye how much that can raise. So two people together, it's in lots of spiritual religious texts, two people getting together with a similar focus, it doesn't double the results, it grows exponentially. So get together with people, get together in groups on social media. Even better, get together in groups, in like people that you can talk to, you can meet in person. This is always more, it's more preferable. But don't limit that and don't say, oh, I can't meet these people. No, use social media for what it's there for. It's going to be the awakening of humanity and seeing beyond the veils, and join that revolution. Be part of it, because it's happening. It's going to happen whether you join or not. It's going to happen. You're going to feel it. So why not be part of something that's going to change the world? Absolutely going to revolutionize the place where you live, where you are, and be part and join in with that to just make your small part in this change, this new way of being. And it's an amazing way of being. It's a beautiful way of being. And when you start to do this, you will start to see those things that we identified, of the things that we do not want, the things that are dark, that show us these dark things within us. You can start to look at those in a different light, and really a different light. You actually shine your light upon them and see that they are opportunities for us to wake up, for opportunities for us to decide, what am I in relationship to this? How will I be in relationship to that? And then again, this is quite high metaphysical things, and everything I try to say is, I want to say it so that everyone can understand. Too many people that talk about these things try to use big language, and I've been I've been guilty of doing this as well, using like very complicated language and all of these but that's separation. I want to explain this in a way that everyone can understand, in simple terms, that everyone can. You don't have to have read all these books or followed these teachers I want to share this in a way that you can explain to a child and explain to a person at the end of their life, and there's no requirement in between. But with this higher metaphysical look at all those things that are going on in the world, where people are suffering and people are really in places, such dark places, on the highest level, they are playing these roles, and they have made choices not on a conscious level, made choices on a much higher level, where they made these choices that they were going to be part of this revolution, and they were going to play the absolute most difficult, and the roles that they're playing is that they're going to come as an example through their suffering, their pain, the things that they're going through, and of course in many cases give up their lives and their well-being as part of this grander scale of, okay, I'm giving myself in this incarnation to really go through the darkest parts of our consciousness, to maybe be the one time I could be the person that goes through this and gives up my life in this terrible way, this negative, dark way. Maybe that one time that I do that, I could be, my death or my suffering or my poverty could be the one that actually tips the balance and actually wakes people up and changes humanity and changes the shift of where we're going. And so they are playing the most difficult roles. They're playing the like, it's unimaginable. And again, I go back to consciousness, what we actually are. Consciousness is eternal, and what we see as death is not what we imagine. We are eternal. We are here before this body, we are here after this body. We have many lifetimes, and they are all simultaneous. Like I talked about the DVD analogy, all time is existing now. We just put our focus. A whole movie exists on a DVD, but our consciousness in this lifetime, where our focus is now, is like the laser moving through that DVD to give a sequence. So what death is not what we have been led to believe from religions, from conditioning, from these types of things. If we look at it from that point of view, we know, while these things are shown to us to be like the very darkest things on the highest level, we know that those beings are always in a beautiful place now, and they are carrying on with their what's going on, they're becoming. So I think I've got a question here. Do you think if we chose, this is from Grania, do you think if we chose to come here for a specific reason that we can alter that? Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Grania, definitely. So my thoughts on that are, on the highest level, we choose to come here, we will choose a broad selection, like, let's say, a blueprint of what we will choose. So like, we'll choose things like, I'm going to be a male born in Ireland, I'm going to be born in a Catholic family, I'm going to be born into a time where there's troubles between religions. I'm going to I'm talking about myself, so I'm going to come, and somewhere around my 30s things are going to start to change in the world, and then I'm going to have a choice of what I do. So everything within, so that's a broad blueprint, let's say, and there could be other things, there could be more specifics, but all of those things outside of the broad blueprint of a male born in a certain country into a certain family, outside of those, everything else is going to be free choice. So we may have come to, let's say, I had this blueprint that I was going to come, and all the things I mentioned, and sometime around my 30s something was going to happen that started to wake me up. So that could have went a different direction if I choose. So I told the story about the thing that kicked me off on this spiritual path was this back injury that I well, not injury, this just condition that happened. I don't really know how it came about initially, but so that could have went it could have went many different ways. But let's say I had made the choice at that time that I was going to be completely a victim of that. Like I chose at that time, no, I'm going to do everything except get this surgery, and I'm going to, so that started me meditating, started me doing all those things. But equally, I could have made the choice to look at that as this is the worst thing's ever happened. I did at the time, but if I had have chosen to let's say go for the surgery because I was afraid and because I didn't trust in myself. I didn't trust in my own healing abilities. I went and had the surgery, and it had a 50-50 chance of working, and I fell on the wrong side of the 50, and now I have to take painkillers, or I have to do lots of things that are going to, I'm not able to do the things that I'm currently doing. Then my life path would have been, what's happening now absolutely would not be happening for sure. So I have that free choice. So again, so let's say I've chosen that path. I can, of course, you can change it. You can change it because you have free choice. This is the ultimate gift that we have been given from the creation, is that we have free choice. So we'll set these wide parameters or guidelines or a blueprint of how we're going to be in this incarnation, but we always have free choice, and we can change it while we're here. And if that change, the way to look at it is, if that change, when you look at it, if that change is going to lead you in a way that feels good, that feels loving, that feels expansive, then that should be a change that you go for. If that change is going to be more oppressive, more keeping you more guarded, keeping you more closed, or it's taking you a more fearful way, then you're still free to choose that, and many of us do and have. But we can, if we look at it objectively and really try to look at it from a higher level through meditation, through practices that open our awareness to what we actually are, then we can make those choices. But on the other hand as well, the challenges that we go through in our lives are the things generally that are our biggest awakening things. So we make the choice to, I talked about it before, I've been sober for whatever many years now, but I could tell when I was like from 13 years old, alcohol was a very big part of my life, and I needed it to function socially and to go out and to enjoy myself. Well, I felt I needed it at that time. So I can see now that while there was lots of what I would say negative consequences from that in my physical body and how I acted, how I was, and things that I did, when I think about it now, there was lots of things that took me to places where that were not me. But at the same time, because I've experienced that, because I know how it feels to be hungover and depressed, and how I know what it's like to be like dependent in some way on a substance outside of yourself. Now, because I've moved beyond that, I can help people that are there. People I know what they're going through, and lots of people have contacted me about like alcohol related things, and I know because we come from that culture. So on that higher level, I made that choice to go through that. At the time I didn't know, but that now is a blessing, because I do have the ability to help people, because I can really understand what it's like. So I think that's where I would fall down on my spiritual path, as I would become sick, and then I think that it is my destined path for growth to continue with this battle of illness. Or can I now? I think I'll just let you finish the rest of that. Have you? Because I can't read the rest of that question. Can you just type the rest of what you've written there, Grania? So I'm just going to read it again. So I think that's where I would fall down on my spiritual path, as I would become sick, and then I think that this is my destined path for growth to continue with this battle of illness. Or can I now? So I'm just going to reply to the first part, and if you could just, because on my screen I've only got as far as of illness, or can I now? So like I said, the thing with my back was the biggest catalyst for growth for me, but what I would say is, having constant illness is, if that becomes a catalyst for growth, for moving you in a way and showing you these things that are difficult, and if that moves you in a direction of a better way of being able to heal yourself, or look at ways in how you can heal yourself, then it's part of your growth. But if it continuously comes up as it's always a negative thing. And I know, I've already spoken to you, and I know this doesn't apply to you. But a lot of times we can feel we're a victim of this thing that's outside of us, and it's me. And I know that doesn't apply to you, but I'm just saying this in a broader sense, that we can look at these as these real challenges as like it's a victim of me. Whereas if we look at it as an opportunity for growth, as a way in which that we can really find our own power, feel how we can heal ourselves, how we can move ourselves towards self-healing and using that. But I think in your question is, can pain be a part of your spiritual path? I think for a lot of people, pain and suffering and disease is part of their spiritual path as well. But does it have to be like that for our whole life? Maybe in the past that's what that maybe we believe that there's some like religious things where you feel like you have to suffer, you have to give of yourself, you have to really, I can't think of the words now, but there's like very like strict religious things where suffering and pain is the way to God or the way to realization. And maybe for some people that's what they needed, but I feel like because we have free choice, there is always another option. If challenges and disease and illness are coming up, and they can be a catalyst, or we can use them in a positive way. There are many people who do that. You can see examples of them. There's many books. There's lots of people who use that as a catalyst for change. And it happened to me without kind of consciously choosing that. And I understand there are many people will have very, very much more challenging diseases and illnesses and things than this issue that I had. So I can only speak from my personal experience and the stories of others that I have spoken to. But I think in this time of revolution, the evolution of consciousness, it's reaching for love. It's reaching for the things that feel good. So this illness or this challenge will come to my life to show me that maybe that I'm out of alignment. And I know that sounds very simplistic and very like I'm not saying that all illnesses or diseases or challenges are just this out of alignment, I'm not doing something right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that these can be, for some people, an opportunity to see this imbalance, see this place where maybe something in my life is not the way it should be or the way it can be, and use that as a catalyst to take it in the way that it can. I can think of one lady that we met last year at Muji. So we did a 7-day silent retreat with Muji. He's an amazing guy. If you want, search for him in thanks, Grania. I didn't get the last part of your question, so if you want to type that again, just please do, because I hope that answered anyway. But just following on from that, I can remember last year at Muji, the 7-day silent retreat. So go to Muji, MOOJI .tv, and on Facebook he gives lots of live satsangs where he answers questions and these sorts of things. He's amazing man. But I remember last year when we went to the Sunday satsang after our silent retreat, there was a woman she was an American woman, and she came to ask a question of Muji, and she's on the spiritual journey, but her whole spiritual journey was based on pain. So she had this condition where her body was in constant pain, and she wrote poetry, like very evocative very touching poetry, and she used her pain in a way to lead her on her spiritual path. But with Muji, he's very direct, he's very to the point, and if you watch him, sometimes it can be hard to watch because there's lots of people will come and they like absolutely adore him and they bow at his feet, and he does not condone that or he doesn't encourage that in any way. But having been in his presence, I can understand that now. But so he's very direct. He will really point out everything. And to this girl, so she came up and told this beautiful poem about her pain and about her suffering, and how she had created this whole, she actually was creating groups where people would come, and it was based around pain and suffering, for spiritual awakening. And he gave her a very direct offer, and he said, if I could heal you of your pain right now in this instant, just like a miraculous, would you accept that you could do this? And this woman, she couldn't answer yes to that. She didn't answer his question. And I'm not saying that he was offering this miracle, although having seen him, I have no doubt that with the right belief in the right situation, he could. There's possibilities that can happen. Again, it's another conversation, but he offered this to this lady who had built her spiritual practice around pain and suffering, and he offered this opportunity now as if I can take this pain away from you completely now, would you do it? And she, by her non-response and by repeated, she basically said that she wouldn't. She didn't say it openly, but by her responses. So she was building her being, her life around this pain, and given her identity was this pain. She wasn't the person that she was this condition. And it's because it's very, again, I'm understanding and compassionate, it's because this condition was chronic and she had this constant pain. And what she did was built an identity of this, is so what she was this condition. She wasn't herself. She wasn't the woman, the consciousness, the being. So and the funny thing was, in these groups, it's usually people on usually more advanced stage, let's say, on their spiritual path, and it's the group. You could feel the negativity towards this woman. And it was a big wake-up call for me, because there was a judging. I'll maybe see if I can find the link and put it in here to watch. So the crowd started to get very annoyed with this woman, because people like to get up and ask questions, and it was a sign of the collective judgment, and these supposedly spiritual people, myself included. We were judging this woman. We were judging because she was using pain as her spiritual path. We were judging because she was taking up someone else's time, and because she wasn't willing to take this olive branch of would you, if you would take away this pain, would you take it? And she wasn't. So it was a wake-up call for me, and I felt real compassion for her. And even afterwards, I wanted to go and meet her and talk to her, because I could feel this negativity all towards her. So yes, she has built a spiritual path around pain. But when I talked to her afterwards, she created these groups, and she had her website, she had blog and all these things. But when I talked to her afterwards, like that pain, it was very easy to see that pain, and not just the physical effects of the disease or the illness, the condition. It just affected her whole being. She was like lost, and I had a lot of compassion for her. But so yes, you can choose pain and illness as a how do you say it, as your spiritual path, as what drives you forward. But for me, in that personal interaction, I could see that's going to be, obviously it's going to be painful, it's going to be very difficult, it's going to and I could, as I said, through your poetry, you could feel this amazing way of words and what that pain allowed her to share. But there is so much pain, there is so much suffering, there's so much illness in the world already. Do we want to more of that? Do we want to focus on that? And as again, I'm not saying we consciously choose those things, but we can consciously choose one way or the other. So Grania, I hope that answered your question. As I say, I didn't get the second part, but I think we got that. So if anyone else has any questions or any subject they'd like to talk about, you can just type it there, and as I say, we can chat about it. So yes, the revolution, the evolution of consciousness. So you can see it all around you. I'm sure you can see people are acting differently, or speaking differently. They're doing things that you might not expect in a more open way, and that's just signs of people waking up. If people are doing things outside the norm, if you feel that you're feeling things in your body and your mind that you've not felt before, that might seem quite strange to you, just pay attention to those things and just realize that maybe this is something inside of you that's wanting to come out. I say I'm doing these videos because this has been inside of me for so long, and I chose not to share it. I chose to keep it within me and within my relationship, and in my work as well. Obviously I would share it within small groups, but after that it was enclosed. I didn't express it. I didn't share it with the world. And this medium now allows us to share, allows us to express ourselves, allow us to start conversations, allow us to interact with people, and this is an amazing tool, and it's a instant feedback where people, like Grant, you can ask a question and we can talk about it, and encourage you to really question, use your society, use your friends, use your people. That's, if you see them doing something different, maybe they're acting in a way that seems out of the norm, that's usually a good sign, because if the normal actions and things in our society and our world are bringing us pain and suffering and bringing us in a direction that we don't prefer, then we need to do something different. So we see people as different as a negative thing, because it's this old energy is conformist and staying within the norm. But that's not what revolutions and evolutions are about. Stepping outside of those things and expanding and becoming. And so question everything. Really put yourself in a position where am I just following blindly with society, with norms, with things that have kept me where I am, or kept me enclosed, or kept me in a place where I feel like I'm powerless? Or can I make new choices now? Can I step outside of that? Can I begin to meditate, come within myself and ask questions inside of me? Again, we don't need outside. We don't need, the saviors do not exist. Those people or influences in the past that have created revolutions of consciousness as well. Those, let's say, those religious leaders, after their message has got distorted, so then obviously there are things that will have negative connotations, and maybe we have positive. But those those leaders like Jesus, Muhammad, all of these, Buddha, all of those stepped outside of the norm of their society. So I think I've got one. I'm in my way to work in the train without headphones. I hope I have some time to watch your movie later. Have a nice day. Thank you, Nick, my friend in Germany. And I know Nick is one of those people who is stepping outside of the norm, and he is working on his consciousness and helping people. We met in Prague, so thank you, Nick. I hope you get to watch a bit later and join in. So as I was saying about these religious leaders like Muhammad, Buddha, Jesus, Shiva, any Lao Tzu, all of these people or beings or consciousness or archetypes, whatever they were or they are, all of those, what they did was step outside of the cultural norm of the time, and every single one of them taught love thy neighbor, do unto others as you would like to be done to yourself. All of those things, they all stepped outside what was the norm for the day, and most of them were persecuted in some way, or but afterwards that message, that same core message of each religion, every single one, was distorted and was changed and was used for control. And those, we are living with the results of those things now. And the governments and the other financial institutions and corporations and those sorts of things now are just in extensions of those things, where those distortions of control have allowed have been allowed to manifest and grow over time, so that they are just a furthering of that distortion of that message. But we are not victims of those things. We can choose to be, or we can choose something different. So we start to step outside of those, choose the financial controls. We can choose where and how we spend our money. So we can choose to choose wisely, choose like start with where you are. If you have choices of buying food from a local farmer as opposed to a multinational supermarket chain, or if you can, because we have to change within the system. We're not, the money system is a form of control, but we have to change it from the inside out, and we can only change it from our individual actions. So we can start to buy from a local farmer. We can start to share, let's say, instead of, because there's this huge waste of electronic devices, and we just, because they've made them so cheap now, we just buy them and throw them away, there's lots of communities are starting to like share these things, and don't always just dump them and buy new things. So that's another way which we can use our money to continue with this evolution, this revolution of consciousness, and using our control in a way that promotes things that are local, that are helping normal people, that are not supporting this global control system and the use of oil and these things. So if you're in a position where you can use a bike, or you can walk instead of using a car or public transport, I know that's not possible for everyone, but it's one small step. Those types of things you can use your choices. And obviously there are other benefits from walking and using bikes, and so that you'll have physical benefits of those, again, if it's a possibility for you. So it's just ways in which you can step outside of those things. Get rid of your Netflix subscription and buy one book a month from an author that is showing like a higher vibrational message, or sharing something that's going to make your life better. And turn off the TV and go for a walk in nature. Sell your TV. I would say just get rid of it altogether. Even no matter how in alignment we are. I remember when I was home the last time, these things just draw you and they suck you in, no matter how far down the line you think you are. Those things are designed to suck you in because they're addictive. They feed on our fears, they feed on our addictions, so they just suck you in. So the easiest way is just get rid of the TV, sell the TV, and buy 3 books, get a subscription to Gaia. There are some alternatives on that are through the internet where you can get high vibrational viewing. As I said, on my website we have a lifestyle section, activatebreathwork.com/lifestyle. I've got lots of free videos of alternative things that you can watch. They won't have advertisements. Well, I hope I've put some YouTube links. Maybe some do have advertisements. Apologize if they do, but that's the other thing. If we can watch these high vibrational things, and if they're laced with advertising, then we're still falling into the same things. And I found this with some like high vibrational or spiritual type sites, where they'll have these beautiful messages, but they're laced with this advertising in between to try and sell products, just in exactly the same way as a normal TV. So you have to be really selective and look at what's been thrown your way, and yeah, get rid of your TV. Facebook's probably going to shut me down for saying all these things, but who cares? I can shout it from the top of a mountain. As I said, if one person hears. So share this video, share it with someone that needs to hear this, and start doing your own videos. Start using your influence, start using your power. This is your evolution, this is our revolution. So start to be the change you want to see in the world. Start to do the things that you can do, and don't feel powerless, don't feel like you don't have power. You have the power. You make choices, decisions every day, and every one of those choices, decisions, words, thoughts create what you see outside of you. So if you're making those decisions in a direction of things that you want, then you will bring and see and experience more things that you want. If those choices, thoughts, actions, words are taking you in a direction of things that you don't want to see, things that you're fearful of, if you're paying attention to the things that you're afraid of, those things are going to start coming to you as well. And that's, people, you can see this clearly when in your life. It's happened your whole life. As I said before, anything you see outside of yourself in the natural world began as a thought. So we just have to know that our thoughts and our words and our actions are creating the world around us, and once we're aware of that, then we can start to create more of what we want, and we can evolve, and we can join this revolution, this new type of revolution. It's a revolution of revolutions. So yeah, if anyone else has, I'm getting towards breakfast time here, so if anyone else wants to ask a question there, or like a subject they'd like me to talk about, I'm happy to do it. So you can just type a question there. Otherwise, I can keep rambling on here all day. I suppose I could do this. There's so much inside of me, and I'm happy that I'm able to share here. I'm happy that I have sort of answered this call to be part of this evolution of consciousness, and each we all play our own small individual part, and we should know that whatever we do, the smallest, what we think of as the smallest thing on a wider level is a huge thing, because everyone's individual consciousness, every thought, every word, every action makes a difference, every single one. And where the control systems that are in place are there because we are not aware of our power. If everyone was aware of their true creative power of their consciousness, these control systems would crumble overnight, because these control systems keep us ignorant of our creative power that they are able to survive. And again, they are a very small number of people, financial corporations, governments, a minute amount of people that are controlling the masses, everyone. And it's purely down to ignorance of our own power. And when I say ignorance, again, it's just it's a non-awareness of what we are, what our power is, what the ability our consciousness has to create. Because if we're constantly in fear of survival, of having to earn money to survive, to pay our bills, then our creative consciousness is not going to be directed towards things that allow us to move beyond that. And that's where that control system keeps us bounded. But we can change that from the inside out. Start to become aware of how you're creating your reality. Start to choose your thoughts, observe your thoughts, choose your words wisely, spend your money in the direction that assists, that moves away from that elitist control, and comes back to normal people and individuals, and share your things. And obviously I'm not saying that I have this, like the very fact that I'm doing this means that I've got an iPhone or these things, and then I'm not saying you have to get rid of all these technologies, because there are benefits to all of these technologies as well, but just be aware of the other side as well, and how they suck you in, and how they keep you in addictive ways, and how they can bombard you with messages through subliminal advertising and these things, and how fear is the biggest control element that they use. And when you realize that you create your reality, you are the person that makes the choices, that creates this outside world, then that control falls away. They will not be able to control the more and more people that do this, and people already have stepped outside of this, and they don't have that fear, and they don't have the victimhood of control. So you can do that. Every single person can do that. So start to do it. Why not? What have you got to lose? If you're within this system, which we all are, we can either just feel like we're in this for our life and this is just per me and there's nothing we can do about it. You can choose to have that experience your life, and then it's like someone said to me yesterday, what was it he said? Martin Jeffrey, I don't know if he's on here, but I think he said, he asked me, are you being kidnapped or are you being held by someone or something like this? Give me a sign in your next video. So I'm giving you a sign now, Martin, that I am definitely not being held, or I've not been kidnapped or been held, other than how I held myself captive for so long by not realizing that I have this ability, and every one of us have this ability. So there's your sign, my friend. So it's just time to wake up, time to join this revolution, be part of this evolution of consciousness. And the last one was, as I said, like it's in the 60s, or with the flyer power and all those things, and some of that to some degree was fueled by stuff that was outside of the person. They felt like they needed something outside of themselves and that's what was needed at that time. But now, this is 60 years later, this is a different time. People are waking up to they don't need anything outside of themselves to survive. We talked about breatharians, we talked about the people that they don't eat, they don't drink water, they don't, to a great extent, even need to sleep. And I'm saying that is obviously the top end of that evolution currently, and I'm not saying that's what we have to do, but it's showing you, it's a beacon of what's possible, that these what our consciousness is capable of is much more than what we've been led to believe, and that's how this control of earning money and to pay my bills, to eat food, to keep my family safe, to survive. That's how this control system has just become our reality. But once we start to step outside of that, then we can move beyond that, and we can use our conscious creation to move beyond that. And I say it's step at a time. It's not like just bam overnight we can do this. We can, but I'm not saying that it's a reality that everyone is going to do that overnight. It's going to be step at a time, just every day. Just observe your thoughts, observe your words, observe your actions. Look at them in the way, are they taking me more towards peace and happiness and love and harmony, or are they taking me into fear and doubt and worry and stress? Simple as that. I know it's easy to say when you're you've stepped outside of that. I know what it's like when you're working a job every day that maybe you don't like. I've done that. I've done it many times in my life. I've done it, and it's hard to see beyond that at that time, but it has to be changed from the inside out. It has to be changed from the inside out. So if you are in that position, just look at ways in every day that you can do. And I remember when I lived in Dubai, I was in a job that I really did not like. But I was there for the reason I was there was to meet my partner and to expand my spiritual journey. And even in that time when I was getting up and I didn't want to go to that work, I would get up at 5:30. I would start meditating. I would do my yoga practice. I would do all my positive gratitude, all of these things. And I would do that for 4 hours or 3.5 hours before I would go to the work. So then it meant, even though I didn't like particularly with that job that I was doing, I was able to, because of the time I spent on myself and because of the things that I did in that morning, I was able to go into that job and environment that I didn't like in a different way, and I was able to respond so much differently to other people that were there. So it is possible. Yes, it does take dedication, and yes, again, I was, for a lot of that time, I was a single man. I didn't have the responsibilities that some other people have, but there is always something that you can do in whatever position you find yourself. You can always take a step towards that positive way of looking at things, and that way in which you can help yourselves, help your children, help your family, help your society. So I don't think there's any more questions has come through. Hey Rachel, and I can't see that other one. Oh, County Derry Board, GA. How you doing? So, as I say, I don't think any more questions have come through. If you have any questions, let's say you have a question and you don't feel like comfortable putting it on here because you just don't want to see other people or let other people see it. If you want to message me, send me a private message on Facebook and send me a question or a subject you want me to discuss, and then I can talk about it without, it doesn't necessarily have to have who asked the question, we can just talk about it. So, Wilma, thank you Martin and Lise for your help. I realised on my behalf it wasn't an illness I had, it was all fear, which I have passed by doing my... Wow, amazing, thank you Wilma. That is amazing. Wow, so happy to hear that. That is unbelievable. Thank you so much for sharing that one. That's, wow, it's getting me a bit emotional. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, so beautiful. Oh. Now you can help other people, Wilma. Now you can tell them that. You can share that with them. And you can tell them you made me cry today. Oh my God, that's so nice. And everyone can do this. Everyone, you don't need someone outside of yourself. You don't need this. I was lucky, I was blessed to realize it by myself. But you can help other people now. That's so amazing. Oh my God. Okay, that's definitely put me back to now. Wow. So tomorrow Wilma will be doing this video for me because I can't talk anymore. I can't wait to see when we come back and chat and see what's been going on, and yeah, I'm really happy to hear that. So me and Wilma worked together for many years, and she's seen me at my worst, and now she has seen me at my best. So that's just an amazing thing to see, because she'd seen me when I was at my, when I say my worst, it's all a journey up and down, but of who I want to be. Wilma and I'm sure other people at home had seen me at that stage, and now they've seen me now, and that's amazing. That we spent some time together. Was it last year or this year? I think it was the start of this year. It was, where yeah, we had some interactions and we talked and did some things, and that's just amazing to hear. I'm so happy. Oh my God. Okay. I think it's time that I let this go now, and thank you very much, Wilma. Really happy to hear that. I'm very touched, and Elise will be as well, I'm sure, as I tell her and show her. So, and this is what this is all about. It's all about sharing openly, and don't be afraid to show your emotions. If you're a man, especially, don't be afraid to show your emotions. Let it go. I've cried, as I said, I've cried more in the last 2 to 3 years than I did in the previous 30 whatever. It was just like, this is real, this is emotion, this is how I feel. I feel it's like a love, it's a joy, and it's, when you share this with people, people will feel that, and people will, again, they will work in ways that they can heal themselves, they can move themselves towards different ways of thinking. And even if they don't heal themselves completely, while they go through what they're going through, they can go through it in a way that is positive, that feels more uplifting, that feels um, that looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's, you know, be that for a person that's going through something difficult now, like an illness, like a disease, whatever it is. And I am given, obviously, this highest level. I'm given these ways of being, and as I say, of course they're not going to work for everyone, and because everyone has their own choice. I'm not saying that this is just like I've got all the answers and this is just like everything is caused by this negative thought. No, everyone has their own journey, and if you know someone that's going through some difficult times now, share these things in a compassionate way, and not in a way where you're doing something wrong and this is why you're experiencing this. No, it's all a journey, it's all evolution of moving, and we're all just becoming more and more. We're all just we're just on this journey together, and if you can make that journey better for one person, then you're doing what you've come here to do. So okay, I need to go get a breath and throw some water on my face. Thank you very much again, Wilma, and thank you very much for anyone else who has joined. As I said, if you want to message me about anything, ask any questions, or message me about anything you'd like to talk about, I'd be more than happy to do it. And I will sign off here. So thank you very much for everyone, especially Wilma. I love you, and I will see you all very soon. I'll probably be back tomorrow, or it could even be this evening, who knows. But have an amazing day, and thank you very much. One love. Ciao.